Here's your most common mistakes when you're selling. Allowing the buyer to take title with only a small down payment. If there's any mistake that's going to come back to haunt you, that one's going to be the one. Now you think I know that. Every time I've ever sold a house with a small down payment, I've regretted it. Every time. If the buyer has nothing at risk and nothing to lose, the first time something goes wrong, you are very top on their list to not pay. Not putting the proper protection clauses in the debt instruments. In your contract section of this module, we are going to talk about protecting yourself and making sure you get the proper clauses in your debt instruments. Allowing the buyer to dictate the rules and control the negotiation. As we've just discussed, you're in control. Maintain that control. Act like you're in control. And don't be a wimp when it comes time to sell. The buyer doesn't make the rules. You make the rules. It's your property. And believe me, you're not going to get near as much flack on that as you think, because buyers are going to recognize the opportunity. Agreeing to pay a large portion of the closing costs unnecessarily. I always get my seller to pay closing costs, at least as many of them as I can. What I can't get my seller to pay, guess who gets to pay if I'm doing a simultaneous closing? My buyer. Now sometimes I have to take title and then transfer title. In those cases, I'm willing to eat the closing costs, but some of you live in areas, in states, where that would be prohibitive. For example, Maryland, 3% transfer tax. So if I'm buying just a $150,000 house, I got a $4,500 transfer tax. Now, what do you think the chances of I'm going to take title and then pass it on and pay that transfer tax? They fall in the category of slim to none or below. Other areas have huge transfer taxes. If that's the case, you're going to have to learn to do business avoiding that. And some of the ways you can do that are operate with land contracts. I'll buy with a land contract, Mr. Seller, simply because I don't want to pay the transfer tax. And neither do you? Because it's customary that we split it, isn't it? Yes. Well, let me just take control with a land contract, or possibly even a lease option. When I get my buyer ready to close, let me just have you deed it to him, and we only have to do this nonsense one time. All right. Not getting a CYA letter from buyer in cases where the underlying loan is due on sale. And not selling the house for more than appraised value. If it's a good house, good area, nice shape, why shouldn't you get more than what the rest of the world thinks it should be worth?